Now, we're going to talk young drivers. Remember when you got your provisional license and then you can book your lesson and get yourself out on the road? I can remember it like it was yesterday. 19th of February 1979 when I passed my test. I couldn't wait to get out on the road. Well, now, of course, young drivers get the chance to do driver training from age 14 and up. So great for 14, 15 and 16-year-olds. The idea is the brainchild locally of local driving instructor John Reynolds. It's his belief that getting younger people behind the wheel off-road will make them safer and more experienced when they get that very first driving lesson on the road.
My name's John Reynolds. I'm a driving instructor teaching in the Winchester area. I don't only offer driving lessons, but also I've got an off-road facility where I teach 14 to 16-year-olds. I think if you can start them off before they turn 17, you can then start working on basic things like learning how to do an emergency stop. Also teach them basic clutch control, so we can teach them how to do the manoeuvres as well. So when they do turn 17, then they're going to be a lot more confident on those sort of things. So they're not going to hold up the road users because they're going to be more efficient at what they're doing. We started doing this back in November. It's an old military road system which is on the outskirts of Winchester, just off the A303. There's about 3 miles of road system that we use, and it's got junctions, place where we can do emergency stops. We've also got 2 big parade squares where we can work them on their steering techniques. We set up road cones as well, so we can get them to weave in and out of the road cones, going forwards and backwards. Recently, we've made an area where we can do bay parking, so we've actually put white lines in so that they can actually, learn all of the manoeuvres before they do start, get to 17 and are old enough to drive. It's really good for people that are quite nervous. Also, people that are older than 17. Sometimes you get people that, for one reason or another, they stop driving. We think this facility is going to be really good for them. So, if they want to sort of come and go out for a couple of hours, knowing that they're sat next to a driving instructor, all the cars have to have dual controls. So, it's just a way of really where everyone can get their confidence back. If we can start educating them, even before they get old enough to go on a moped, they can go onto a moped at 16 without that much training. They have to have a test. It's called a CBT test, but it doesn't really, in my opinion, it doesn't really give them a good test. So the good thing with this is hopefully, if they've got a bit more awareness of where to look when they're coming out of a junction, when they then go on to mopeds, when they turn 16, it's going to make them a little bit more road aware as well. If we can go through things and talk about, what they do when they're coming up to like a pedestrian crossing, when they're out sort of like walking, if we can sort of help to, improve their observations when they're walking over a pedestrian crossing, then that's got to be a good thing as well. So I think the things that we're doing is going to have a knock-on effect with other things, not just when they get onto the road.
Looking at the driver casualties in Hampshire over the last year, for 17 to 24, it's extremely high. I think there's more than 500 casualties. How does that make you feel as an instructor?
It's disappointing. It makes you feel as if we're not actually doing our job correctly. But I think there's ways in which, this figure could really come down. One of the things that I try and encourage with my pupils is to try and get them to do as much private practice as possible. Because normally when people pass their test, they don't really, once they pass their test, it's not that often that they go off and they do advanced driving courses. So, that standard is normally as good as it gets. Obviously, they may improve with time. We know that after people pass their tests, sometimes they then don't indicate at roundabouts. And when you're teaching someone, they quite often are saying, how come I'm the only one that's signalling to leave the roundabout? And all I would say is, what I say to them is the more of those things that you can stick to, then the safer it's going to make you, and you're going to hopefully stay safe.
Interesting stuff. Nadine Jukson reporting for BBC Radio Solent. And if you know of someone who's under 17 and wants to get behind the wheel, the next session is on Sunday the 28th of November, and you can log on to this website for more information. It's www.winchesterdriving.co.uk, www.winchesterdriving.co.uk if you know of someone under 17 who wants to find out more.